And because my ancestry is my ancestry is African, it is Native American and Southern European,
Right.
and I claim all of it.
Exactly.
I claim all of it. Most people don't claim all of it.
All of their ancestors.
All of
That's
their
right.
ancestry, okay? I put up a big fight to be able to do that, you know.
I share that. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's important. It's to
So
claim,
you know.
to claim it all.
To claim it all is like to turn yourself into this very unusual being, you know. And within looking at being African, everything, the whole, you know, our whole primordial beginning, I feel responsible for. Being Native American, it's like all of what has happened to my people with the influx, I feel responsible for. Being Southern European, I feel some responsibility for what those ancestors did too. You see what I'm saying? And I carry all of that, and I look at what the communities need, okay? Our communities need examples of more balanced relationships, period.
Of all types.
Of all types. You know, man to woman, partner to partner, parent to child, friend to friend, co-worker to co-worker, stranger to stranger. You know, if we don't balance this stuff, for me, the disruption or the upset that we're seeing in nature parallels the mistreatment we're doing of each other. You know, it all has to come clean at the same time. Now, what is difficult for me is that, you know, we get readings. We do readings every year for what are the predictions for the year, what is Spirit's guidelines for us. We get it for our individual home, our individual temple. We get it for the United States. We get it for the world.
Right.
Okay, and they're always right. That's what's amazing about it. Several years ago, Oshun said that it was very, very important for the people who were going to be part of the transformation had to be properly matched. Okay? And I have watched folks be moved around as if somebody's got a board just doing this. You know, relationships that were this old but was no longer functional.
Boom.
Somebody who was distant over there and didn't seem to be part of anything. Boom. They're coming, you know, so we're being rearranged. The Adjustment Bureau is at work.
Yes, the Adjustment Bureau is on the job. Not always adjusting in the way that you're looking for.
Right, but it's going on.
This religion that you didn't exactly grow up in.
Right, I grew up in Vodun,
Yeah.
the whisperings of Vodun, but the similarities are strong enough that I can sort of say, oh, okay, yeah, but the
Talk
names
about
are
that a
different.
little bit, because for many people, you know, they hear, you know, done and they go,
Oh, yeah.
you know, this is some kind of,
Yeah.
you know, negative force, and it's a misunderstanding, of what the traditions
First of all, you have to understand the psychological ambivalence, period, okay? Be really, really clear that keeping us confused about earth-based spirituality was part of the enslavement process.
Yeah.
I want everybody to get that, okay? Slavery was created by the Catholic Church. One of when you set out to oppress a people, the first thing you do is demonize their deities. That is universal. The next thing you do is impose a hierarchy in their social structure that did not exist before. You separate the family, you send the children. I mean, there's a formula for it.
Exactly.
That everybody has done to everybody else, okay? The people who survive by taking on the way of the oppressor, right? And pressing down their own way. But it's never lost.
It exists somewhere.
It exists somewhere,
and
you see.
Somewhere
and
in the
it
village,
pops up.
it's there. That's right.
It pops up here and there, okay? So the people, I say this all the time, there are people who see themselves as good Christians or good Muslims or good whatever they are, who, if you talk to their rational self, will tell you, I'll be the first one to strike a match at a witch burning, okay? But those same people, if their love life is messed up, if they're sick and the doctor is not curing them, if they're experiencing some spiritual phenomena that the psychologist cannot decipher, they will crawl through the alley to my back door, okay, to get what they need. And there's this kind of ambivalence about, I'm scared of that power until I really need it. I deny it, but I know that it's always there. Voodoo, especially, has two very real concerns. Number one, you have to know that the reputation, half of the reputation of voodoo being such a bad thing has to do with the fact that magic and medicine was used by a pack of supposedly disorganized slaves to overcome the army of Napoleon Bonaparte.
That's right.
Okay? That whatever they had.
What they had became
okay. Yeah. They
negative.
defeated Napoleon Bonaparte. All right? So you got to look at that and say, how did a bunch of people with nothing but sticks and stones defeat 45,000 sophisticated soldiers?
Exactly.
Whoa, what's happening? The second part of it is that after winning the revolution, I personally feel like the energy of war that was raised in order to win that victory, the people who knew how to cool that energy down must have died, because that energy then turned in on its own people, you see. And so Haiti has a lot of problems with the warrior gone wild, okay? Now,
the warrior turned on itself.
The warrior turned on itself, okay? When a people are not allowed to express their own tradition fully, what they hold on to is the defensive magic, you see. And so you get people debating right now, what is voodoo, what is hoodoo? Hoodoo is the practice without the philosophy. Voodoo in New Orleans is partially like Haiti, but with something else thrown in, you know, and there are all these debates. In Jambalaya, I track very clearly the meaning of the word, the practices, what it is, okay? Now, unfortunately, due to the exploitation of the media, that word has come to have a negative meaning almost universally. So my sister was traveling, coming out of Hawaii, and she had a coconut in her pocket, right? And when she came through the airport, they're supposed to inspect everything. The man wouldn't touch the coconut. He said, that's some Hawaiian voodoo. He's scared, okay? I say some people need to be scared. Leave them scared.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Exactly.
If you ain't got sense enough to, to know that there's light and shadow in everything, especially you, that's okay. But from the point of view of people generally in the community, you have to know that, during the slave period, there was a thing called the Black Codes. And the black codes said a number of things. You were property, you couldn't marry, there was this, that, and the other. And one of the things was the penalty for practicing your own tradition was death.
Exactly.
Okay? So the traditions that survive by appearing to be Catholic, by merging with Protestant practices, by the big one now is it's all right to be culturally African or culturally Native American or culturally Asian, but not spiritual. You know, you can't
Be
divide.
Christian.
Yeah, you can't divide people up like that.